Executive Insight series in association with KPMG, where we speak to business leaders about their insights into strategy, success, and overcoming challenges. My name is James Delahunt, Director of KPMG Sustainable Futures. Today, I'm joined by Shane Doyle, Senior Vice President and Head of Alexion Operations, AstraZeneca's Rare Disease Division. AstraZeneca is a global science-led biopharmaceutical company that focuses on the discovery, development, and commercialization of prescription medicines. In recent times, AstraZeneca is best known for being one of the first to develop a COVID-19 vaccine. AstraZeneca operates in over 100 countries, and its innovative medicines are used by millions of patients worldwide. The company was named Business Finance FDI Company of the Month for June 2022. Shane, you're the Senior Vice President and Head of Alexion Operations in AstraZeneca Rare Disease Division. The company was chosen as FDI Company of the Month for June. What are the key business strategies that culminated in this selection?
Hi James, and first of all, say thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I think it's important to realise that Alexion, as part of AstraZeneca, Alexion has been here for the last 8 years, since 2013. So we've invested over 700 million euros in infrastructure in Ireland through Alexion. And that's been predominantly over 2 sites, Athlone and College Park. And in that investment, we've built capabilities across manufacturing, supply chain, and quality. And in 2021, AstraZeneca acquired Alexion. And that's added a new reach to the Alexion Rare Disease Unit, in that it allows us to leverage the resources within AstraZeneca. So now we can build that capability, we can continue to invest, and we can demonstrate that with up to over €1 billion since AstraZeneca acquired Alexion. So we're moving forward, we're reaching more patients globally, and we're trying to expand how we grow our portfolio and the use of technology. And to specifically talk about that 65 million, that's what that is there for, to allow us to scale up, to allow us to use new technologies, and to allow us to reach more patients globally.
Right, very interesting. And a key aspect of this Insight series touches then on the sustainability agenda, which we talked about earlier. The AstraZeneca's company's sustainability strategy, what's the track record today to maybe give us a bit of insight on that?
Certainly, it's AstraZeneca are very passionate about sustainability. They have a really, I think, ambitious framework, and it's driven from the top by our CEO, Pascal. So I think it probably touches on 2 key facets. One, that in 2025 we're looking for carbon neutrality, and by 2030 we're looking at carbon negativity. So I think that's hugely ambitious, number one, and it's probably applicable to what you control in terms of it's quite reasonable to look to change out your car fleet to EVs. It's quite reasonable, for example, in Athlone with Alexion, we've looked at reducing wastewater, monitoring our usage across the board. But also I think then it's looking to the future. It's how do you control the uncontrollables? How do you build a supply chain for your products that's carbon neutral? And how do you do that? By building relationships, because that's fundamentally what it's about. And being transparent and being able to actually, I think, become a partner in achieving carbon negativity by 2030.
Yeah, certainly negativity is very ambitious in terms of what we've seen. So it's great to see AstraZeneca setting those targets and being boldly seeking to achieve it. And obviously, when I think in the mind's eye, when you think of AstraZeneca, you think of COVID-19, you think of the vaccine, and it was instrumental in that rollout over the course of the last number of years. How has the business changed off the back of that experience?
I think if you had said to me prior to the pandemic that we could have achieved what we achieved from being able to reach our patients globally as part of the Rare Disease Unit on its own first, I think it would have been ambitious. Is probably a mild term in that space, but I think with how we've used technology, with how we've worked with people and built relationships, our essential people, and a big thank you to them. They were fantastic. They turned up when nobody else could turn up, and continue to make medicine and continue to help us get those medicines to patients globally who, without those medicines are in trouble. So we provided hope all the way through the pandemic, and that was a huge, I think, achievement in and of itself. But our ability to use technology the way we use it, our ability to build those relationships, fundamentally that's what business is about. How do you build those relationships? How do you keep it running? Then if you take what AstraZeneca achieved, with the COVID vaccine. Over 3 billion doses to 180 countries, 2/3 of which were lower to middle income countries. It's phenomenal. And the ability to do that and provide hope across the globe, it really links back to the values that you see with AstraZeneca.
Sure.
Putting patients first, do the right thing. And I think they've demonstrated that holistically. The only other thing I'd say is with what we've done through the COVID pandemic and with the blueprint we've created in terms of relationships and in terms of, launching a COVID vaccine, it is huge hope for the future.
And I can only imagine how both pressurised and exhilarating working through that period must have been. And it makes you think about the leadership that would have been required during that period. And perhaps from your own experience, what would be your own leadership style, and how has that maybe evolved and changed over your experience during that and before?
Yeah, and it has evolved and it has changed. Yeah. And I think every global event or every crisis forces you to rethink how you bring yourself to the table. And I think, personally speaking, I'm a high energy person. I like bringing energy with me. I like feeding off energy with people. I like to be able to set standards and be able to improve. If you can bring your purpose to the table, why are we doing this? And be able to talk with people and allow them to understand the why and where you want to go, I think they'll feed off your energy and your passion. And I think give them room then and let them go, because we have brilliant people. We have people who dedicate their time, and their passion, and they really strive to make, I think, patients' lives better. And that's a purpose that's easy to translate. And then probably the last aspect of that I'd talk to would be, letting people achieve their potential, giving them the opportunity to be the best person they can be. I find that hugely motivating.
Sure. And
I love to watch it at a personal level, at a team level, at an organisation level. So, that's the characteristics I try to bring to the table. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you have to rethink it and you have to evolve. But I think it's we have a great track record, and I think we're getting stronger and stronger. So I'm very proud of the people and the leaders we have.
Sure. And maybe even to unpick that a little bit further, then for those that are driving for success, be it in your own organisation or in separate businesses, what advice would you have for them, both for themselves and then those managing teams?
Yeah, I think it's important to define success.
Yeah.
To make sure that what you envision success to be is what your stakeholders and your teams envision that in that same respect. Then I think it's focusing on the environment you're trying to build, because the culture you create, the values you uphold, that they'll be the key drivers of sustainable success. And I think that's really important. If you can build that collaboration with your team, if you can make sure that everyone's on the same page and you're striving for the same thing, then I think over-investing in talent, getting the right people in, be ruthless about getting the best people around your table and in your organisation. I think they're key, and I think probably the last thing I would say is go for it. Yeah. Don't hold back. I think stagnation is something that is really the enemy of progress and growth, and certainly in our business, you want to be growing at all times.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. And when in the pharmaceutical industry, it's probably more so important than anything. And when you look at that industry at the moment, what are the kind of key challenges that stand out to you as you face into the years ahead?
Yeah, I think it's predominantly two. If you stand back and look at it, we've been very lucky, and a lot of hard work has combined with that look to keep on bringing great people into the industry. And that supply of people comes from our second level and our third level institutes and the apprentices across the country. Being able to continue that success story and attract that talent externally and internally and bring them into the industry, that's the key to success. If you have good people, everything else will work. Sure. I think making sure that that's sustainable into the future, and we continue to bring those people, and particularly across some of the STEM areas, that we invest in that infrastructure, and we work hard to keep bringing those people to the table. They're the key to success, and always will be. I think secondly then, it's about sustainability, and it's about, in the short term, looking at how do we manage our energy. That's the medium short term, but also how do we leverage the framework I talked to in terms of sustainability out into the future? How do we bring that, I suppose, that passion that we're seeing across the board into how we run our day-to-day lives, how we work, the way we work, and the future of work? Because if we can get the right people and we can respect the fact that we need to change how we work to be sustainable into the future, I think they're the two primary challenges, and both of them are going to take a lot of effort and a lot of collaboration and innovation to make work.
Sure, yeah, it's very interesting. And when you look at it in kind of, as an Irish person in Ireland, we hear an awful lot about the pharmaceutical sector, the success that it's had, both domestically and from an FDI perspective. How, when you have put your global perspective on, how globally is it viewed inwardly in Ireland, and what are the successes, and what in your view is, from a policy perspective, can be done to maybe improve it even further?
Yeah, I think when you look at Ireland, we've punched well above our weight in pharma and biopharma historically. I think with a lot of hard work, through the IDA, through NIBRT, through HPRA, we've built an infrastructure. Sure. And that infrastructure now houses the best companies, the biggest companies from an Irish pharmaceutical and biotech perspective. So we have that infrastructure now. We also have some brilliant people, working across every company, and we've built an ecosystem where, it's unique, I think, to find that you can pick up the phone and talk to a peer in a different company and have that conversation and learn from each other and share information, but also the collaboration that happens when you see talent transfer between companies. I mean, my own experience is I've been there. I've been with multiple companies in Ireland, and it's just the knowledge you bring with you, the innovation you carry with you, the collaboration. It leads to, a future where we have the basic foundation. I think the future is going to be really interesting in this space, because I think we now need to think about 15, 20, 25 years out.
Sure. We
now need to think about the policies that have been successful. We now need to look at, for example, NIBRT. How do we leverage that? How do we build for the future again, and have an open mind into what will work into the future? I think we've had some great people that have worked very, very hard to get us to here, but the future is going to be different, and we need to think that progressively and collaborate and innovate and work together to make that happen.
Sure. And then from your own business, where do you see the biggest opportunities in that context?
Yeah, it's hugely exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the science and the development and I think the investment that we're seeing globally in creating new medicines, in, trying to bring our medicines to patients globally and bring hope. I mean, the opportunity to be able to be part of that it's brilliant. And I think the industry, pharmaceutical, biotech, biopharmaceutical, we can change how people spend their lives almost. We can bring hope to them when we bring medicine to those people, those patients. And I think that there's a huge opportunity for us to leverage that investment in Ireland, and to be part of that future and to continue to develop and bring hope.
Yeah. I think on that note, I think that's very, very well said. So look, Shane, thank you so much for joining us today for the Executive Insight Series in association with KPMG, and wish you and your colleagues the very best and every success in the future.
Thank you, James. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us today for the Executive Insight Series in association with KPMG.